Good morning, grade 8 students, and welcome to the second part of today's lesson, 3C Reading, Hacking the Teenage Brain, plus Vocabulary Part 2. So kindly get well prepared and follow your teacher carefully. As for today's lesson objectives, we're going to cover two main objectives. So, by the end of this lesson, students will be able to recognize the meanings of certain confusing verbs accurately, practice using certain confusing verbs in various activities correctly. To start our lesson, I would like to ask you this question. Do you still remember what was our previous reading lesson about? If you do still remember, answer these two questions. 1. What was the title of our last lesson reading text? 2. What was the article mainly about? Well, here is a reminder to check your answers. 1. What was the title of our last class reading text? It was about hacking the teenage brain. 2. What was the article mainly about? It was about how teenagers' brains work and how this affects them. Now, let's revise the meanings of some new words we learned in this text in the previous period. So let's start with the word mystery. Mystery means something that is difficult to understand or to explain. Also, we have the word connections. It means links or points connected to each other. Also, you have the word memory. It means something you remember. Also, we have the phrasal verb takes place. When something takes place, it happens especially after previously being arranged or planned for. Also, we have the expression keep in mind, which means to remember or consider that. Also, we have the noun danger. It means the possibility of something bad or unpleasant happening. Also, we have the adjective risky, which means involving the possibility of something bad happening. Then we have the verb discover. It means to be the first person to become aware that a particular place or thing exists. Now, let's move to the vocabulary section confusing verbs on page 39 student book. But before we start talking about confusing verbs in details, I would like to draw your attention to this question. What do you know about these confusing verbs, end and finish? Or what is the difference between them? Well, end, when something ends, it means it stops. For example, my PE class ends at 9:30. Or you can say, I ended my partnership with him because I felt we had nothing in common. As for the verb finish, when something finishes, it means it is completed. For example, they finished the test and left home immediately. Or you can say, we need to finish our part and leave soon. Now open your student book, page 39, vocabulary. Let's learn the meanings of these sets of confusing verbs. Let's start with grow and grow up. What is the difference between them? Let's start with grow. When do we use grow? Well, we use this to talk about something getting physically bigger or longer. We can say, my grass is growing, or my bank account is growing. Remember, we use grow to talk about something, not somebody. Something, okay? Now, what about grow up? When do we use grow up? Well, this is only used to talk about people becoming more mature. So, using grow up implies that the thing we're talking about is human. Okay? So we can say, where did you grow up? I think it's clear now. Now, let's learn the meanings of the second set of these confusing verbs. Think, imagine, wonder. Have you got any idea about them? Well, to know the difference between them, you should follow me, and let's start with the verb think. Think means to believe or have a particular idea or opinion about something or somebody. For example, do you really think that he will win? What about the verb imagine? Well, it means to form a picture in your mind of what something might be like. For example, I can't imagine life without children. What about the verb wonder? Well, it means to think about something and try to decide what is true, what will happen, what you should do, etc. For example, I am still wondering how that could have happened. Now, let's move to the third set of these confusing verbs. Understand, realize, recognize. What do you know about them? And what is the difference between them? Well, let's start with the verb understand. It means to know or realize the meaning of words, a language, what somebody says, etc. For example, can you understand French? Then we have the verb realize. It means to notice or become aware of a particular fact or situation. For example, I didn't realize that you were so unhappy. Finally, we have the verb recognize. It means to know who somebody is or what something is when you see or hear them. Why? Because you have seen or heard them before. For example, I recognized him as soon as he came in the room. Let's move to the practice stage task 1. Match these verbs to their meanings. Take your time, read the verbs and the definitions carefully, then match them well. Once you're done, you can check your answers with your teacher. Well, you can check your answers now. Let's start with the verb grow. What does it mean? Well, it means to talk about something getting physically bigger or longer. You can say, I think you need to water your grass to grow well. Imagine. What does it mean? It means to form a picture in your mind of what something might be like. You can say, I can't imagine what will happen if you don't do that. Recognize. What does it mean? Well, it means to know who somebody is or what something is when you see or hear them. For example, you can say, I recognized him immediately as soon as he approached or came closer. Think. What does it mean? Excellent. It means to believe or have a particular idea or opinion about something or somebody. You can say, I think he's a great man. Understand. What does it mean? Excellent. It means to know the meaning of words, a language, or what somebody says. You can say, I understand what he says. Good. Task 2. Choose the correct verb. Just as usual, you can pause the video, read the sentences and the options given carefully, then try to circle the best answer. Once you're done, you can check your answers with your teacher. Well, you can check your answers now. 1. I can't imagine how life would be 20 years from now. 2. I recognize the voice immediately. 3. She grew up in Boston. 4. I think he will arrive soon. Let's continue with task 2. You're going to read the sentences from 5 to 8 and the options given carefully. Then try your level best to choose the correct option to complete the sentences. Take your time, then do the activity by yourself. Once you're done, you can check your answers with your teacher. Well, you can check your answers now. Let's start with sentence 5. I wonder who she is. 6. I understand what you say. 7. I didn't recognize him. He has changed a lot. 8. I didn't realize you liked fresh juice so much. Task 3. Open your student book page 39. Then complete the sentences 1 to 8 with the verbs in the boxes. Once you're done, you can check your answers with your teacher. Well, you can check your answers now. Let's start with sentence 1. This plant doesn't need a lot of sunlight to grow. 2. What do you want to be when you grow up? 3. I can't imagine life without technology. 4. I wonder what it is like being an adult. Is it easier than being a teenager? Let's continue with task 3. You're going to read the sentences from 5 to 8 carefully, then complete them with the given verbs below. Once you're done, you can check your answers with your teacher. Well, you can check your answers now. 5. Karen has read only the first chapter of the book we bought her. I don't think she likes it very much. 6. I didn't recognize you. Have you changed your hairstyle? 7. Maha doesn't speak English, so she couldn't understand what we were talking about. 8. I didn't realize you liked ice cream so much. Here is some more. Task 4. Open your workbook page 39. Read the sentences 1 to 10 and the choices given carefully. Then try to choose the best answer. Once you're done, you can check your answers with your teacher. Now check your answers. 1. Lucas can lift up to 70 kilos. He has got amazing strength. 2. When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. 3. Walid has become very good at maths since he started solving brain problems. 4. Scientists have discovered that the Earth used to be one big continent millions of years ago. 5. Climbing trees is risky. You might fall. 6. I wonder what our cats do when we're not at home. Do you think they play all the time? 7. Which way is the underground station? 8. I have one more chapter to read until I finish this book. 9. Keep in mind that you only have a few hours until the train leaves. 10. What is going on? Why is everybody shouting? To conclude our lesson, I would like you to write some sentences of your own using some of the verbs you have learned in today's lesson. You can write your sentences in an individual piece of paper or in your notebook. Then you can check them with your teacher. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. Thank you for watching the video. Till we meet again, goodbye.